Right now, 45 degrees is baking the Australian outback, while 172 millimetres of rain is about to drown Brisbane in a single month. If you live anywhere in Australia this Sunday, the 8th of February 2026, the next 5 minutes could change how you plan your entire week. And here is what most people get wrong. The city you think is safest might actually be the one to worry about most. Stay with me, because at the 5-minute mark, I am revealing which capital city is sitting in the absolute sweet spot this Sunday, the one place where the weather is practically perfect. I guarantee it is not the city you expect. But first, something that might shock you. Across 7.7 million square kilometres of this country, temperatures range from 12 degrees in one capital all the way to 45 in the interior. A 33-degree difference, same day, same country. No other nation on earth swings like that. So here is what we are doing. Every major city and region broken down so you know exactly what is coming. Drop a comment telling me where you are watching from. Now let us get into it. Sydney, you are up first, and I need you to pay attention, because what looks like a beautiful day has a nasty little surprise hiding in the afternoon. Sunday in Sydney is showing a top of around 25 degrees with an overnight low of about 21. Now by Sydney summer standards, that is genuinely pleasant. We have seen the mercury rocket past 35 degrees during those brutal heatwave events, so 25 is a gift. You could head to Bondi, Manly, Coogee, any of those iconic beaches and actually enjoy yourself without melting into the sand. But here is where it gets interesting. February is one of Sydney's wettest months. 86.2 millimetres of rain spread across roughly 23 rain days. That means on almost any given day this month, a shower can pop up out of nowhere. And Sunday is no exception. The morning looks settled and gorgeous. The afternoon, that is when the rogue showers start gate-crashing your barbecue. Winds are sitting at around 24 kilometres per hour, enough to be annoying if you are set up on the beach. My advice for Sydney this Sunday: plan your outdoor activities for the morning, have a backup plan for the afternoon, and whatever you do, do not skip the sunscreen. The ultraviolet index in February is absolutely cranking. Slip, slop, slap is not a suggestion, it is survival gear. Heading inland across New South Wales, temperatures jump to 32 to 35 degrees in the semi-arid regions. The eastern coastal strip gets over 1,200 millimetres of summer rain, while inland stays bone dry. Two completely different worlds. Do not go anywhere, because what is happening in Melbourne this Sunday is something you rarely see in February, and you will want to hear this. Melbourne, the city that gives you 4 seasons in one day. But this Sunday, something unusual is happening. The forecast has Melbourne at a top of around 24 degrees with a low of 18. A southerly breeze at 20 kilometres per hour bringing cool air off the bay. And here is what makes this rare. The barometric pressure is steady, which means Melbourne is actually going to behave itself. No sudden temperature drops, no surprise hailstorms, just a beautiful summer day. This is a ripper. Perfect for the Royal Botanic Gardens, a stroll along the Yarra, or a flat white at one of those brilliant laneway cafes. But I have to give you the heads up, because this is still Melbourne we are talking about. February can dish up anywhere from 3 to 8 rainy days. The chance of rain on the 8th sits at 54%, so chuck a compact umbrella in your bag. You know the drill. For the swimmers, sea temperatures in Port Phillip Bay peak in February at 18.8 degrees. That is as warm as it gets, still cool enough to catch your breath when you wade in. Nearby Geelong will see similar conditions with about 10.1 rain days and 40 millimetres of rainfall. Now here is where things take a dramatic turn. If Melbourne is having a dream day, Brisbane is about to experience the complete opposite. And the numbers are staggering. Brisbane, the capital of the Sunshine State. But do not let that name fool you, because February in Brisbane is actually the wettest month of the entire year. Let that sink in. The Sunshine State's capital gets more rain in February than almost anywhere else on the east coast. Sunday is showing a top of around 28 degrees with a low of 22. Hot, muggy and sticky. But here is the real headline. February in Brisbane sees more than 20 rain days. Total rainfall clocks in at a whopping 172.3 millimetres. That is a serious amount of water falling from the sky. Tropical thunderstorms can roll in at just about any time, particularly in the afternoon, with dramatic lightning displays and absolute bucketing rain for a short burst before the sun pops back out like nothing happened. Classic Brisbane. And this is critical. If you are driving around Brisbane and surrounds this Sunday, please be extra careful with localised flooding after heavy downpours. Low-lying areas, underpasses and roads along the Brisbane River are the most flood-prone spots. Remember the golden rule every Queenslander knows by heart: if it is flooded, forget it. Sea temperatures in Brisbane peak in February at about 27 degrees, ideal for a dip. The Gold Coast just south is also in its wettest month with about 11.4 rain days. Sea temperatures on the Goldie hit 27.2 degrees, perfect for surfing. Do not miss the next section because what I am about to tell you about Cairns will make Brisbane rain look like a light sprinkle. Cairns, the gateway to the Great Barrier Reef. And if you reckon Brisbane is humid, Cairns in February takes things to a whole other level. Average temperatures hover around 28 degrees with highs pushing to 31 and lows at 26. But the heat is not just the mercury. Humidity regularly sits above 75 to 78%. Step outside and you are drenched in sweat within 30 seconds. And here is the number that will blow your mind. Rainfall in Cairns during February averages roughly 322 millimetres. That is nearly double what Brisbane gets, spread across about 13 days of serious rain. These are not gentle drizzles. These are full-on tropical deluges that can last for hours, sometimes accompanied by strong wind gusts. For anyone planning to visit the Great Barrier Reef from Cairns this Sunday, check sea conditions before heading out. The ocean gets choppy after thunderstorms and visibility drops. But catch a clear spell between the storms and the diving is still world-class. Inland Western Queensland is copping characteristic summer heat, with temperatures potentially exceeding 38 to 40 degrees in the desert zones. Now remember at the start I promised to reveal which capital city is sitting in the absolute sweet spot this Sunday. Here it is, and you might not have guessed it. Perth, the most isolated capital city in the world. And on Sunday, the 8th of February 2026, Perth is having an absolute pearler of a day. Perth enjoys a classic Mediterranean climate, hot, dry summers and mild, wet winters. And February is the driest month of the entire year. The city averages just 2.1 rain days for the whole month, with a grand total of only 9 millimetres of rainfall, 9 millimetres. While Brisbane is getting 172, Perth gets 9. That contrast is extraordinary. Temperatures on the 8th range from 19 to 20 degrees overnight, climbing to 31 to 35 by midday. Clear skies, blazing sun, and that famous sea breeze Perth locals call the Fremantle Doctor sweeping in during the afternoon. When the Freo Doctor rolls in on a scorching afternoon, there is no better feeling. If you are in Perth this Sunday, it is a cracker for Cottesloe or Scarborough Beach, Kings Park, or a ferry to Rottnest Island for a selfie with the quackers. But here is the catch. The ultraviolet index in Perth during February regularly hits 11 plus extreme level. SPF50 plus sunscreen is non-negotiable. A wide-brimmed hat is essential. And finding shade midday is not being soft, it is being smart. Inland Western Australia, particularly the Pilbara and Kimberley up north, will surge past 40 degrees with big thunderstorms and flooding risk. Now let us head to Adelaide because what is happening with the wind direction this Sunday could mean the difference between a lovely day and an absolute scorcher. And that is not an exaggeration, Adelaide. Nestled between rolling hills and sprawling vineyards, Adelaide shares Perth's Mediterranean-style climate, but with extra influence from the arid interior to the north, and that is where the drama comes in. On the 8th of February, Adelaide is expected to see highs of around 28 to 32 degrees, depending entirely on wind direction. If the wind blows from the north, bringing air from the desert interior, temperatures can spike dramatically, sometimes blasting past the 40-degree mark. But if the wind comes from the south or southwest, carrying cool marine air, things will be noticeably more pleasant. The difference between a northerly and a southerly in Adelaide can be 15 degrees or more. That is not a forecast, that is a coin flip. Sea temperatures peak at about 20 degrees, warm enough for a swim at Glenelg or Henley Beach. Rainfall is quite low, though the Adelaide Hills can pick up more moisture. South Australia is truly a state of two halves, scorching desert up north and Mediterranean coastline down south. Now, if you think Brisbane's humidity was intense, wait until you hear what Darwin is dealing with this Sunday. This might be the most extreme weather of any capital city in the country. Darwin, the very top of Australia. If I had to sum up Darwin's weather on the 8th of February in one word, it would be humid. January and February are the two most humid months in Darwin, with average relative humidity sitting at a brutal 78%. Combine that with daytime temperatures regularly hitting 32 to 34 degrees and overnight lows that refuse to drop below 25 to 26 degrees, and you have got yourself a Sunday that is hot, sticky, and absolutely suffocating. The kind of heat that hits you like a wall the moment you step outside. Darwin is right in the middle of the wet, and it is intense. Afternoon thunderstorms are virtually a daily occurrence. The pattern is like clockwork. Massive clouds build around midday before cracking open with spectacular lightning and torrential rain, usually between 3 and 5 in the afternoon. A single Darwin thunderstorm can dump 50 to 100 millimetres in just a couple of hours. More than some southern cities see in an entire month. For anyone in Darwin this Sunday, the morning is your best window. Come afternoon, be prepared for a proper drenching. Important safety note: the wet season is also peak for box jellyfish and saltwater crocodiles. Do not swim at natural beaches or in rivers unless safety signs say it is okay. The swimming lagoon at the waterfront is your safest bet. Now let us fly all the way to the bottom of the country, because Hobart is offering something completely different from everything we have covered so far. And for some of you, this might be exactly what you are looking for. Hobart, the island state of Tasmania. At roughly 42 degrees south latitude, this is Australia's coolest state. Temperatures on the 8th range from 12 to 13 degrees in the early morning, rising to 21 to 24 during the day. Warm enough for a shirt, but bring a light jacket. Sea temperatures average 16.5 degrees, chilly, no two ways about it. Sunrise at 6:11, sunset at 8:36, giving you over 14 hours of daylight. Perfect for a walk up Mount Wellington, a cruise on the Darwin River, or visiting the world-famous Museum of Old and New Art. Weather is more predictable than Melbourne, but can still change quickly. Light showers at any time are normal down here. Before we finish, the nation's capital, Canberra, sits inland at about 580 metres elevation, giving it a much bigger temperature swing than coastal cities. Daytime hits 28 to 32 degrees, but overnight drops to 13 to 16. That is a swing of 15 to 18 degrees in one day. Classic Canberra. Generally dry and sunny in February, though afternoon thunderstorms are still possible. Up on the eastern seaboard, Newcastle is in its wettest month with about 14.7 rain days and 79 millimetres of total rainfall. Temperatures sit between 20 and 28 degrees. The locals are well used to the February rhythm of shower, sunshine, shower again. Now, a word about the vast outback. The Australian interior in February is the most unforgiving environment on the entire landmass. Daytime temperatures across the central deserts, including Alice Springs and Uluru, regularly smash through 35 to 40 degrees and can hit a brutal 45. Rainfall is wildly unpredictable. Weeks without a drop, then a massive thunderstorm dumps tens of millimetres in hours, turning dry creek beds into raging torrents. Desert flash flooding is extremely dangerous. 1 minute the road is bone dry, the next it is underwater. If you are travelling through the Outback this Sunday, carry at least 5 to 10 litres of water per person per day. Have a satellite phone, since mobile coverage is non-existent in many areas, and always let someone know your itinerary. So here is your complete picture for Sunday, the 8th of February 2026. Sydney, mild at 25 degrees, but watch for afternoon showers. Melbourne, a rare, beautiful day at 24. Brisbane, hot and humid at 28 with heavy thunderstorms. Cairns, deep in the wet season. Perth, the standout winner, sunny and practically perfect. Adelaide, warm, but the wind direction changes everything. Darwin, suffocating humidity with guaranteed afternoon storms. Hobart, a cool escape at 21 to 24 degrees. Canberra, big swings between hot days and cool nights. And the Outback, brutal as ever past 40 degrees. Wherever you are this Sunday, remember the 3 golden rules of Aussie summer. Slip, slop, slap to protect your skin. Stay hydrated. And keep checking the Bureau of Meteorology for updates. Drop a comment telling me where you are watching from and what the weather is like right now. I read every comment, and your local insights help everyone stay prepared. And if you found this useful, you are going to want to see what is coming next. I have got a special update on the rest of February, and there are some major weather shifts heading for the East Coast that nobody is talking about yet. You do not want to miss that one. See you.